Hello and welcome to another weekly update. Welcome to the last weekly update of 2019. Congratulations, we made it through another year. It's been exciting, I think. It's been kind of whirlwindy. But first of all, I hope you had a great Christmas, a great holiday, whatever it was you were doing. I hope you got a chance to rest and relax a little bit, catch up with family, whatever it is you want to do, whatever it is you like doing. I hope you did some of that. If, like me, all the days have kind of merged into one and you're not really sure what day is which. I only realised about half an hour ago it's Sunday night and I haven't done a weekly update, so that's why it's quite dark in here, because it's quite late. So apologies for that. I hope you don't mind. I've afforded myself a little festive drink to go with this week's update. It seemed appropriate. And predictably, there's really no news since last week. There is one post I want to talk about, and then I'm just going to give a quick kind of year in review from where I see things and where I've seen things happening this year and what I think next year is going to bring. So the blog post I want to pull out is the monthly update that the Microsoft Teams team put out every month around what's new in Teams. And this is good if you've had a really busy December and you haven't really necessarily kept up with all the things that have been happening in December. You know, December can just disappear because it's straight off the back of Ignite. You've been processing Ignite and catching up, and then before you know it, you're into December. You've got 2 weeks before everyone starts winding down, and it's a real, it can be quite a busy time. So this is a good blog post just to make sure you don't miss anything that's happened across Microsoft Teams. So for instance, a biggie, Teams is now on Linux, so that's kind of a big one. There's a couple of others as well: live captions, dynamic emergency calling for direct routing, video calling on Chrome. That's a biggie actually, especially for developers. So video calling on Chrome is kind of interesting, really interesting, because it now means that web is really on parity with the desktop client for all modalities. So that's an interesting one to watch, I think. And finally as well, the APIs. They're calling them the contact center APIs. And they're saying they're ready for sort of deployment and development. Yeah, so and that's an interesting one that's come out of Ignite. I haven't really written about it completely yet, but just know that there are new APIs available to cover contact center and kind of compliance and recording workloads within some parameters. So it's not like a UCMA style API, it's slightly different to that. There are some very good sessions by Andrew Bybee I would suggest you go and watch if you're very interested in that, as well as some of the communication API stuff I touched on briefly last week, with a blog post to that as well. So yeah, so some of those might be interesting to you as well, but it's worth just kind of, if you've not been fully up to speed with what's come out of Ignite and what's been rolling out in December, then it's probably worth just reviewing that blog post to make sure you don't miss anything going into the new year. Okay, so what's this year been like? Well, I suppose it depends how you think about it, really. So I don't normally talk much about work on these updates because they're supposed to be kind of focused on the news and on the technology and things. I'm still at Modality Systems, and my kind of workload has changed slightly over the year. I'm doing something slightly different now than ending the year than I started. That's exciting. It's great new opportunities, so that's been really fun. It's been busy, but it's been fun. I'm spending a lot more time now with the development team and the product owners and that team as well. So that's a lot of fun. So that's been me. So it's been super busy. That's definitely been true. Family-wise, again, I don't talk too much about that on here, but we have a daughter. She's 18 months or something now, so that's been taking an awful lot of my time. Other things that have been happening, I think the conference season has been really good for me this year. I went to Comms Next for the first time. That was awesome. That was a really good conference. Kind of towards the middle of the year, I think it was, maybe June. I can't remember anymore. They had the MVP Summit at the start of the year. That was a really good one this year. There've been some good conferences as well, and obviously Ignite, where I was doing the community reporter stuff, was a massive eye-opener, a massive opportunity. So much fun. Has given me way more work than I can really deal with. So that's been kind of interesting. But also, it's made me think about lots of things about what I want to do, what I want to concentrate on. And so I'm going to take some of that forward into next year. So you'll see that in some of the content I put out, and I'll probably be concentrating my time more intensively, I think, because it's always hard to find the time, and so I want to make sure I'm spending the time doing the things that I think are important, not just the things that I think should be done, if that makes sense. So, and some of that is in the teams world, some of that is in the development world. Some of that, frankly, is not in the tech world at all, because it's important to have a good balance on these things. So I will also be kind of dipping my toe into some other areas as well. And I expect family life to be quite an important part of that as well. But yeah, so that's all that stuff. Actually, what do I think of 2019 for Microsoft Teams and the development story? Well, I think generally for Teams, it's been a good year. Every year has been a good year for Teams so far. It's been very, it's seen some phenomenal growth, and it's doing very well. And it's obviously a very important part of Microsoft's strategy. As a developer, I actually think 2019 has been a really interesting year. It's been the year when development on Teams has become cool. And what I mean by that is Microsoft always cared about developers. They're a development company, and they've always sort of made sure that the APIs have been there, but that hasn't always necessarily been a primary focus or like a real driver. But I think something has changed in 2019. I think two things happened. I think the first thing that happened in the first half of 2019 was that Microsoft figured out somehow, whether through research or through some other mechanism or through telemetry, that apps are important to driving user growth, user adoption, and uptake of Microsoft Teams. So apps, by bringing workloads and information that users care about into Teams and showing it and allowing users to interact with it alongside their conversations and their messages, that has a real multiplier when it comes to user adoption and rollout, whether rolling out, greenfield, whether crossing over from Skype for Business, or whether moving over from a competitive platform. So I think that's been a real kind of shot in the arm for the development story, because suddenly it's been, if we can get people using apps, then they're more likely to stick around. But also the other big part of that is the Power Platform push. The low code, the no code, that's been the kind of second half story of 2019, I think. And the two combined have really kind of turbocharged, everything on Microsoft Teams development platform. And I see that really going through into 2020, because, neither of those things are going to go away. So it's just going to be kind of even more, especially around, I think, the Power Platform stuff, because some of the announcements from Ignite have yet to fully GA and come out. So even more so, I think you'll see more ability for people who wouldn't classify themselves as developers to get involved in bringing information into Teams, bringing data and workloads, bringing processes into Teams, and making Teams a part of those processes. Well, that was a ramble. Thanks for listening, if you still are. I think that pretty much rounds off everything I wanted to say this year. It's been a really good year. It's been a really interesting, exciting year. Thank you very much for following me along this journey, these weekly updates. I hope they're useful. I find them quite useful, actually, but I hope you find them useful. Let me know if you do find them useful. So all that being said, I hope you have a fantastic new year, a very happy and prosperous 2020. I look forward to working with you, seeing you, talking to you, interacting with you, whatever it is, online, offline, whatever. I hope to continue to provide some modicum of value to you. And all of that to be said, I'm going to leave you now, and Happy New Year, and we'll see you on the other side in 2020.